The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Go Cowboys!
This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your hosts, Barry Church, Danny McCray, Heckma Harrison, and Newey Scruggs.
Welcome into the Taj Mahal of football. It's the Players Lounge on the Star, from the Star in Frisco. And I'm a player with the players from the Dallas Cowboys safety, my man BC in the place to be. Danny McCray, former special teams ace in safety as well. LSU national champion.
That's right.
Yeah. And as we know him, the Survivor.
The
Survivor. Listen, hey, he's booked and he's busy. Speaking of booked and busy, Newey Scruggs is getting his oil changed, I guess.
I get checked.
That's what we'll call it. But this is the Players Lounge. Yo, your favorite Man Crush Monday moved to Thursday. So, hey, we're here at 11 o'clock. But, guys, as I always start the show, man, I check mentals right off the bat. Make sure my fellas is straight. BC, I'll start with you, man. How are you? What's on your mind? What's good?
Man, everything's going great, man. I had a little leak in the little leak in the master bedroom. So underneath the floors, there was a little wetness right there dribbling up in there. Got that all fixed this morning, so everything's going great, man. So little man's birthday today, turned 8, man. Crazy,
oh man, that's awesome.
Like crazy.
You gotta love them when they 8. They still in that cute stage.
And the birthday presents, they ain't bad. He Legos. That's all he wants is Legos. So I'm straight. Happy birthday, man.
Don't cost you much. It don't cost you much, right? You love it. Just give me some Legos.
Go to Target and get you, you know what I mean?
It's like gonna hurt your feet when you step on them, though.
Oh man,
believe that.
Them little helmets, they be, man.
The thing is, do you help put them together?
At first, I did. His first couple, I helped him put them together. But now he's
getting
rolling.
too much.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't.
He trying to build a Death Star and all that.
He like, you got to put the rotation. I'm like, man, I thought it was just a wheel on there. I'm out, man. I'm out.
D-Mac, what's good with you?
Listen, before we get to me, I just want to ask Church, did you do the construction, the renovation yourself? Did you go to Lowe's and get?
You talking about for the floor?
Yeah.
Nah. See what happened? The warranty. So the builder, I told him like, hey man, fix this leak. They came through.
Oh, come on now. That's when
you
put your Dickies overalls on and you run down at the Lowe's.
Can't do it.
It's the try and the fail.
Growing up, too much manual labor for me, man.
Is that what it is?
So I was like, I ain't messing with it, man. I ain't doing it no more.
So anyway, y'all doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's raining outside.
I pull some weeds, what I mean, out the yard. I'll pull a couple, that's about it.
Too much
I ain't cutting no
labor.
grass. I ain't cutting no grass no more.
He ain't done manual labor since he went to college.
Since 2010. About 2010, man.
Well, you about 14 years out. It's time to get back on the train.
14 years. You sprinkle a little fertilizer in the front.
Yeah, shoulder was kind of tight this morning, man. Shoulder was a little tight. So I had
Unbelievable,
man. Had to take it off a little bit.
Everything good with you?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good. We got the kids when they start getting sick. I'm still because she's 3, so they still go to school, get the sickness, then bring it on back home, and then the whole house is just stuffy.
It's a cesspool.
They just goodness gracious.
You gotta wipe them down before
it don't
they
matter
get in the car.
How much hand sanitizer they play in the hand sanitizer, they spray all over their face and everything. Still come home sick.
Yeah. Sniff.
Yeah.
That's all you.
I say, is that a cough?
Here we go. You know the same. I already know it's coming.
If you see kids play together, you already know that this is the germs are gonna be everywhere. Just from the way that they play with each other.
When you drop them off at the front door and then you see one of the other little kids come through and you see a little running nose, you be like, man. I want to be like, hey, come on back home.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Chris Beam knows a thing or two about that. But man, you guys see all the trailers out there. The Country Music Awards are tonight. You one of the guest presenters? I know you're country music.
I'll be at home.
You'll be at the crib.
You can have it on the tube though, right?
I'm not watching that.
Right.
I'll be at home though.
All right, there it is. Yeah. There it is.
All right, well, I'm good. If anyone wants to know,
how are the mental?
Man, I'm straight.
How are the mental?
You jumped straight into.
He did. He didn't give me a chance to.
My bad.
I didn't get a chance to see it. Yeah.
My bad. Look,
and then try to put it on us.
Yeah, I know, right? You know how I do. Man, I'm good, man. Spring. My son is in spring ball right now, man.
Yes.
So that's we full steam ahead with spring ball right now. So
that's watching the videos you be posting too.
Good. He's senior, junior. What's he going?
He's a sophomore.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he's a sophomore. Yeah. So we still got a ways to go.
Man.
But hey, yesterday Were you guys paying attention to the schedule release for the Dallas Cowboys?
You got to. You got to, man.
I don't know about y'all. I mean, this has become like they're raising the bar each and every year for these schedule releases. If you look around the NFL, all the teams, the media departments that get involved to do it's very creative, the process that they go into. But the Cowboys media department is just spanking.
Man, that's what they do.
Best in the league. Spanking everybody right now. And man, I don't know. Like I went through it, the whole thing a couple of times, man. It just gets funnier and funnier every time, man. What was your reaction, guys, from the schedule release from the media department?
When I'm looking at it, first the videos were funny for the release. Yeah. The things was funny, but when you're looking at the schedule, I think it's tough. I think it is a tough schedule. And look, this is a first place schedule, so you're going against all the first place teams and all the other divisions.
Yeah.
So I believe this team has their work cut out for them. I mean, we'll go through which stretch we think is hard and all that good stuff later on, but just a first glance at it, I mean, when you look at it, Cleveland, you know what they love to do?
Run it.
Chubb's coming back. What's the he's coming back off it, but he has done it before. He's had a crazy injury, came back even stronger before. You got Chubb, you got Cleveland coming at you. Baltimore, those first 3 weeks.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. You're going against some defenses and you're going against some teams that love to run the football. So I believe early on in this schedule, it'll be a great test to see how Zimmer can get this defense going in the right direction. Has he fixed those problems when we talk about the run defense? But I believe overall it's an extremely tough schedule, and that first chunk of it should be a little difficult for the Cowboys.
Danny?
Yeah, listen, first, just to start off with the video, listen, I watched it, and as I was watching it, I was like, I'm kind of out of the loop on like who these like celebrities and all these people are. So I watched it knowing that I probably should know who they are and knowing that they were probably famous, saying, "Oh, that's a pretty good catch," even though I don't know who half of the people are. So it was very creative how they did it. I can't imagine Jerry like sitting there as I opened up my FaceTime with Jerry and Mike sitting there.
Can you imagine that?
So I couldn't imagine. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was yeah. Then they always do. I mean, even when they did it with Stephen A, they did it with Post Malone. Like they always find a really creative way. And then also they always include Jerry.
Yeah,
Jerry's always in there. So that's why he's one of the best owners, and the Cowboys always going to be so big because he knows how to do it. Media department, Derek Eagleton, all of them, they did a really great job. I agree with you on that one. My only thing is, you just know how the NFL is, to where there are teams that you expect to be really good based off what they did the prior year, and then they come out here and you like, hold on, that's not them.
Nah,
that's not them. I thought they were going to be really good, and then they just so happened not to play as well as they did the previous year. And to me, I think that's probably the only thing that may save us here, because based off what you just said with Cleveland, we know how they looked last year. We know the defense. Chubb is coming off an injury, so we don't know how good it'll be, especially with that being the first game of the season. The Saints, they don't have anything, so they're going to run it. They got Kamara. They're going to try to run it. You got the Baltimore Ravens with Derrick Henry. He's going to try to run it. So we're going to be tested really quick, and we're going to know, hey, did we fix the things that we haven't been able to fix over the last few years with being able to stop the run? With Mazi Smith in there saying he's gaining a little weight.
Back.
Or is it some of the same old? Hey man, we gonna be dependent on Dak Prescott and Brandon Cooks and CeeDee Lamb to get out there and just put up a bunch of yards because we're not able to stop the run. So we're gonna learn a lot in those first 3 weeks. We'll learn a lot.
Yeah.
So when I saw the schedule, that's the first thing I thought BC was like, man, we're going to figure out what Mike Zimmer got going on. These first couple weeks
it's gonna be a test
of the season will be a test. And I really loved, I believe it was Patrick Walker that did the interview with Mike Zimmer, just talking about his play style and his scheme and how he's going to scheme it up and how it's going to be much different from Dan Quinn. And I think when you talk about him as a legend, as a coach, basically, one of the things that I thought was very unique about what he said was when he's come into situations as a head coach or even as a coordinator, it's been because the defense is horrible. He said, in this situation, I'm coming in on a defense that already has some success. How do you build on that? But it's not going to be the same scheme. But even when you look at these first couple of weeks and you talk about a Cleveland, even a New Orleans Saints and a Baltimore Ravens, boy, that's that button up your chin strap. You already know what they're going to come with, especially when I got down to Baltimore.
You already know what that is.
You already know
what that is.
Unless they do that Baltimore that showed up in the playoff game and decided not to.
I mean,
act like he Dan Marino.
That would be like trading places, identity crisis for Baltimore if they did that. But I think for me, like and obviously we're not going to pick anything without Newey.
We're not gonna let him get off.
We're not gonna let Bernie Madoff pin whip us this time. You know how he do. Extra set of books. But also you go to
Which
this
book I want to bring out today.
Let's go on. He got to.
Right.
After that, you get Detroit. And then you get a bye. And then right after that, San Francisco right behind it.
If you look at that all the way up until San Francisco, all those squads outside of New York, they gonna try to run that rock.
Yeah.
New York, it may be the same. They gonna run it. They got Pittsburgh, you got Detroit, Baltimore, Cleveland.
Yeah.
All these teams.
The Saints gonna run it.
Exactly. Yeah. All these teams are like, look, we ain't got the quarterback option outside of Baltimore, so we're gonna run the rock. We're gonna run the rock. We're gonna see exactly what Zimmer and his defense can do. Can Mazi Smith have that bounce back year? Do we have the 3 tech and the 1 tech in there to solve these problems? Are our linebackers gonna be able to work like we think they're gonna be able to work? It's gonna be a great test these first couple.
And that's where I'm going with my question for you, because I think even before the draft, your concern was linebackers. Mm-hmm. And post-draft, do you feel like the linebacker they got from Notre Dame, bringing in Kendricks and company and already what we already have? Now that you look at this schedule, you know what you're going to be coming up against, especially that first quarter of the season. Did we get better at linebacker to be able to take on some of your concerns?
Oh, you got better. You got better because you got some guys. I think last year depth was a huge problem for us when you had Marquise Bell stepping in to play the linebacker position. So we got some guys. We have a veteran guy in Kendricks that can probably get those guys lined up and ready to go. And you got some young guys in there, but I think you're better at the position. What worries me still is the defensive line. And I heard the new defensive line coach say that Mazi Smith playing last year was a lot of get up field, and he's going to play more to his strengths of being able to read blocks and play into blocks. I got to see that. Yeah, I have to see it. But the thing is, we won't see it.
We won't,
because he's not going to be there until training camp. He's not going to be able to work on any of that stuff, and we're not going to see if he's better at doing that than what Dan Quinn had him doing, if there was really truly a difference. So
were you confused at all about that, about the Mazi Smith getting up the field talk? Because I didn't see it.
So from what I got from it was he was more focused on getting that early penetration through the defense or through the offensive line and getting after the quarterback, which a lot of the defensive linemen in Quinn's system, that was their first mentality. They got to get after the quarterback. And that's what, to me, you didn't have enough guys that were anchored, that were like, if the quarterback comes my way, I'll be all right. But I'm going to sit in this gap and make sure I don't get moved. I don't think there was enough of that on the defensive line. I think it was always, we got to get upfield. And as you see throughout the season, guys were running counters on us. They were saying, all right, let these guys get upfield. We're going to let them get right past us. And here comes a running back right at that hole where they just left. Right. So I think, hopefully that hopium again. Hopefully, the scheme this year with the defensive line, especially the interior guys, is more get those concrete blocks that we talked about on this foot and just sit there. Let them run linebackers, let those guys run all over the field and chase down blocks. Just make sure you don't get moved out of your block or out of your gap. But a lot easier said than done.
I think that's the thing. Like, it's the Jekyll and Hyde, the kind of good and the bad that goes with the defense that Dan Quinn runs, where you're trying to get these guys in one-on-one, especially guys like Micah Parsons, sometimes the linebackers, to where you have to run these stunts with the defensive line, these ETs so often, and these other stunts that you see, so that the linebackers can play off of it. And sometimes it doesn't give the defensive line interior one technique, nose technique, the opportunity to really, hey man, this is where I'm locked in at. I'm playing the double here, and this is just my one job. Versus, wait, I read his step and he has to do this, and I got Micah Parsons coming behind me, so now I got to figure out how to make these things work. I think this is going to be one of those, hey man, we're playing base defense. Yeah. You line up here at the nose, you line up here at the 3, and if there's a double team, you play into them, and everybody else is going to have to play off of y'all versus the opposite. So I think you'll see a lot less of probably the ET stunts and the spikes into the B gap. I think you'll see a lot less of that and more of, hey man, we holding point. Yeah. We need guys who can hold point and make sure that those linemen stay off our linebackers.
It reminds me a lot of that Marinelli system. When I was playing coming up, because we didn't have great names or anything like that, but we had guys that were like, look, I'm gonna sit in this A gap, I'm gonna sit in this B gap, Yeah, we're going to be good against the run. And we were through those stretches with Marinelli. We were good against the run. Granted, we had on the other side of the ball offensively a prime Ezekiel Elliott taking all the time of possession. We had DeMarco Murray taking all the time of possession. So teams really couldn't get into that running system. But I believe if you have a group of guys understanding their role, not playing hero ball, sit in that gap, let those other guys do what they got to do, and I think you have a better defense overall.
Now, integrity-wise, when you have the difference between what Quinn is doing and what Zimmer is doing, because historically Zimmer is one of those guys that believes in gap responsibility, alignment, assignment, where you were just talking about those stunts. Now, does that take away from what you have on the outside with Micah Parsons? Does that take away from the DeMarcus Lawrences to be able to do what they do best?
I think less so on DeMarcus Lawrence and more so on Micah Parsons, just based off what we've seen them be successful at with Dan Quinn. Can Micah Parsons line up at defensive end and continue to make plays? I believe that he can. I believe he can get that done. We will have to see him probably do it more times now this season than we've had to see him do it in previous seasons, especially if you're playing that, hey, man, one technique, nose technique, and the three or whatever that is, interior, and they're going to stay there and just do that. Then, yeah, you're going to have to see Michael Parsons be probably more stationary than you've seen him in the past.
What hurts me, or what got me a little bit, I was going to be a little nervous is
what is that?
That all that early penetration, ET stunts, and all those great blitzes Quinn was running, against the run, it might not have been that great, but against the pass, they were getting after the quarterback. And that helped that secondary in the back end tremendously. When you talk about being able to take the football away, sitting on routes, intercepting things, not having to cover that long because you knew that pass rush was going to get there. With this Zimmer system, and I still don't know all the ins and outs of it, but if you're playing that base where it's like, all right, we're going to be hunkered down right here, that secondary, they're going to have to cover. Yeah. You're going to be covering a lot longer than you were in years past. So that makes me slightly nervous, but you got two great corners on the outside in Bland and Diggs. You got safeties, reliable safeties back there. So as long as they can, work off of each other, I think they'll be good, but that makes me a little bit nervous when we talk about the pass coverage.
Man, we're getting out to a hot start. We're going to take a break and let Chris Beam pay the bills as BC watches golf. He's playing double duty right now. And we'll be right back here on the Players Lounge. How do you do that, man?
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Hi, I'm Danny McCray, Dallas Cowboys alumni player here with Smoothie King. And Smoothie King wants to ask you, what's that sound? That's the sound of us magically transforming our smoothie bowls into 2 new decadent flavors. Dig into a cool acai or pitaya bowl, handcrafted with crunchy, purely Elizabeth granola, fresh strawberries, and finished with a velvety chocolate hazelnut drizzle. Perfect for breakfast, lunch, or anytime you want to munch. And that's the sound of you making them disappear. Smoothie bowls, now in 2 new decadent flavors. Only at Smoothie King, the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys.
To kick off the 2023 NFL season, Hugo Boss teamed up with the NFL and Micah Parsons to launch an iconic apparel collection featuring hoodies, crews, t-shirts, polos, joggers, and more. The bold, unique apparel of the Boss NFL collection unites football and fashion while reflecting what it truly means to be a boss. Get yours today at nflshop.com/HugoBoss, at HugoBoss.com, and at Boss retail stores. # be your own boss.
There is no I in Dallas. There is no I in Hart either. No I in Blue Star or in Lone Star for that matter. And there's no I in how about them Cowboys? Smirnoff knows there's no I in football. Football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together. With good drinks and good folks, home or away, we rally together, we cry together, and we always rally cry together because there's definitely no I in Cowboys fans. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Country Music's Party of the Year is back like never before. The Academy of Country Music Awards returns to the Ford Center at the Star at Frisco on tonight. See the biggest stars in country music and watch unforgettable live performances. Limited tickets are available now at SeatGeek.com. Back in action here on the Players Lounge. Mine is my man Nui Scruggs. He'll be back next Monday.
Yes, sir.
In here with my man BC and D-Mac. And we were talking about the schedule, but more importantly, talking about how things align up front on this defensive line and how you're going to get pressure. And one of the most important things of the offseason, one of the things that's happening right now in the offseason, is Mazi Smith. Mazi Smith, as you know, guys lost a ton of weight, going the opposite direction on the scale where we would like for our one techniques. Got under 300 pounds during the season. So now it's rumored that he's getting his weight back up after the shoulder surgery. But I think the more troubling thing for Cowboy fans is the fact that he's not in the building. And, you know, there's some other things that's going on. I mean, we'll tread lightly around that. But at the same time, you have to have he has to have a great second year, and it's not starting off good for us in the offseason. Danny, what are you making of all of this rumor around our number one draft pick last year?
I want to say, first, I want to preface it by saying this. I know the guy wants to be a really good player. Yeah. Like, nobody comes in and they're like, nah, I'm all right.
Yeah, I want to be average.
He came in as a first-round pick. I'm sure he did as much as he possibly could that he thought was the best thing for him to be really good. It just didn't work out. Now, the shoulder surgery, he can't help that. He can't help that. Now he has to get that in order to be healthy for the season. With all that being said, that is a very tough thing to do. To come off a season like you had last year where you lost weight, you were underweight. Now you're trying to gain weight the right way, but then you're not able to work out like everybody else is working out. So one, we got to find out if that's even true weight.
Yeah,
because once you get out there training camp, all of a sudden you could drop another 20 because you haven't been doing the things that other people have been doing. I exaggerated with the 20. I don't know if that's really a thing. But you drop some weight and then you figure out that that's not what you really thought it was. Two, you got a new defensive line coach. You have a new defensive coordinator they already have come out and said they're going to teach you to do new things or take you back to what you did good at Michigan that got you to be a first-round pick. And you're not able to really get out there and do it. Like, you can do as much footwork as you can, but if you're not getting your hands on guys and being able to really find out what that position in and your leverage and getting back into that groove and that habit of doing that stuff, then it's going to be hard for you to get out there, you know, in the first week, and you're going to see Nick Chubb, and then the next week you're going to see Alvin Kamara, and the next week you're going to see King Henry,
and Lamar.
You know, and like that's when you knocking the rust off. Like it's going to be a really quick catch up for him in order to really be successful like we want him to be this season. Now that worries me, but can he be great? Yeah, I don't know. He's a first round pick for a reason.
Yeah, that's true, and I echo everything you just said when it comes to Mazi. I mean, you know, he's going to try as hard as to get to where he wants to be when the season comes up. The one thing I will say about it is when you're a young guy and you know it's your first real off season as a team and all that good stuff. I've been to other places, but with the Cowboys, they love all their players to be here and working out. And I understand that's not going to be everybody. Everybody's not going to be here working out at the same time and all that good stuff.
Which is voluntary.
It's one of those,
voluntary
with the question marks, especially if you're a young guy. Now I can see, Dak and, Zeke and CeeDee Lamb and those guys, they might want to go work on their own, but they're proven commodities in the National Football League. All pros, Pro Bowls, they've done it all. So they kind of, I don't know if I want to say earn the right, but they've gotten to that point where if they want to go work out somewhere else and come back for captain's workouts, then they could do so. When you're a young guy like Mazi Smith was, you were drafted by basically the Dan Quinn regime, and they first round pick. You weren't drafted by the Zimmer regime. So you want to make sure, especially coming off an injury. Like I could see if he Pro Bowl all rookie team or something like that coming off his rookie year, even if he played and we saw flashes, like man, he got something in the tank. We didn't see any of that. So when you're coming back off your second year injury, going into a new system, you want to make sure you're around everybody. You want to make sure the coaches are seeing your face each and every day that you can be down here in Dallas. Not only that, you got possibly, in my opinion, the best training staff in the National Football League with Brett Maurer and Jim Maurer, Britt Brown, and G Money and those guys. they'll get you right. So there's no real reasons to go anywhere else to do your rehab if that's the case that's going on right now. So for me, if I'm Mazi Smith, I want to be in the building each and every day, learning the new stuff that the new defensive coordinator wants me to do, keeping my face around, letting these guys understand that, hey, I'm here and I want to get better. Just for my own experience, that's how I was. We had new defensive coordinator almost every year here in Dallas. And I'm telling you, if I wasn't here working out or making sure my face was shown, they were trying to replace me regardless every single year. So I just had to make sure I was here in attendance. And maybe if you're a first-round pick, it's different. But to me, I want to be showing my face as much as possible.
I think the question I have for you guys, because you are former Cowboys, the pressure. Speak to the pressure that possibly Mazi Smith is under, because no one's full out and came out and used the word like this bust, or anything like that. But there are innuendos and people saying, little things about his first year. But it seems like he's a young man under a tremendous amount of pressure, being the former, first round 26th pick taken in the draft. What is that pressure like for a young guy like that to come into this building every day knowing the expectation that's placed on you?
I think it's tough. One, because you already have the big pressure of being the Dallas Cowboys, and we haven't won the Super Bowl in this long, and we got all the play, because you always hear they got all the talent, they got all this, and they just can't figure out how to get it done. And then you say, he knows, hey man, Cowboys haven't been able to stop the run for the last few years. They draft a guy in the first round coming from Michigan who was successful in college, and they say this is going to be the missing piece, and then it doesn't happen that way to where what did he play, like 6 snaps maybe in the last game?
He couldn't beat out Hankins.
He didn't really play much in that last one, right? So now he knows and he feels the fact that, hey man, I'm a first round pick and I have to play better. One, the pressure is that. 2 is everybody's trying to get paid. Right? So at some point you have to be able to show, man, I can put it on tape to where the ownership looks at me and says, 1, I earned this first round selection, and 2, I'm trying to get the bag moving on in my career. Exactly. His third one is now he's hurt. So now you got all that pressure, and now you have the pressure, 1, to be healthy enough when the season starts to really get out there and make a difference. And then, hey man, now I got to worry if I'm one of those guys who are always injured. Right? Because now you got that on you of like, well, listen, he's a really great player, but he's just not healthy, right? So all guys who go out there and they get hurt, what happens is when they first get back on, the one thing in their mind is they don't want that to happen again. Well, you don't want to be labeled as a hurt guy, and you also don't want to miss that time again. So I think he has an immense amount of pressure on him. Hopefully he gets back and then he, gets his mind right and he can overcome that. But right now, it's a lot.
BC, you think he can handle it?
Yeah, I do think he has the capabilities of handling the pressure. There's a lot, though. There's a lot of pressure on it. Just like what Daddy just said, being that first-round pick, understanding that the one Achilles heel for this defense over the past couple years has been the run. And you, fair or not, you were the guy that's going to be drafted to fix that problem. Yeah. So you got drafted. You didn't really show up your rookie season for whatever the case may be. Now the pressure's even mounting even more, because when you look at all the first-round draft picks before him, I think there was maybe one that didn't pan out, and we talking about Taco.
Yeah.
Other than that, you got all pros, Pro Bowlers, all decade players as first-round picks for the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. And so it kind of cascaded. It might not be fair, but that's just the way it is. They're going to put that pressure on you to be able to stop the run. It's a team effort, but you're the first-round pick. You're in the trenches. We want you to stop the run. That's how it's going to look. And it, like I keep saying, it's not fair, but that's just the way the game goes. So there's immense pressure on Mazi Smith going forward to kind of be that guy. Not saying he has to be Aaron Donald. Not saying he got to be Chris Jones or anything like that. But if he can just hold the paint in there, and we can go from being, one of the worst run defenses in the league to, I would even say, above average. You ain't even got to be, middle of the pack. You ain't even got to be great, just above average. And I think he'll have done his job. But man, there's a lot of pressure going on Mazi right now.
Look, that Dak Prescott mantra, pressure is a privilege, doesn't apply to everybody. A lot of everybody. But speaking of first-round draft picks, we all got an opportunity to see Tyler Guyton in the building, our first-round draft pick, and big young man that's coming in that has his work cut out for him as well. He is replacing what could be a first-ballot Hall of Famer and Tyron Smith. Switching gears over to the offensive line, I know there's a lot of expectation, a lot of question marks placed on that offensive line, and Look, it's the underwear Olympics. We're not going to know how these guys, especially the defensive and offensive line, you don't get a chance to see exactly what these guys can do. But a guy like Tyler Guyton stepping into going from the right side to down to the left side and expected to come in and be a staple and an anchor on this offensive line. What are your expectations from him coming in? And Barry, go ahead.
Oh, to me, my expectations, you got to go in there. You got to be a day one starter. You got to be a day one starter, and you got to be able to contribute, for this team ASAP. Because to me, it seems like they're going to keep Tyler Smith at that left guard position, which, all pro. I mean, the guy's amazing at the left guard spot. So they're going to put, the first round draft pick Guyton out there on that left tackle situation. And to me, we've heard, through the grapevine and reports that he's a project, that this guy, he has all this ability, but he's kind of raw. He's a raw project. But we heard the same thing about Tyler coming out. Man, this guy got a lot of penalties. He has all the talent in the world. He's just not refined just yet. And look what he came out and was able to do his rookie season. So if he can be even a third or half of what Tyler Smith was his rookie season, I think we'll have made leaps and bounds, and this offensive line is going to go forward great.
Yeah, listen, we talked about that pressure, and I think the pressure is on him to get out there and be a day one starter and be successful, because we go back to Mazi.
Yeah,
you look at it, you say, hey, man, we got a first-round pick who wasn't really impactful for us the year before. We're really counting on you. And I think, to me, it makes sense to move him out the left. One, because Tyler Smith has been really good, and now he's in the middle of now a rookie center and a rookie left tackle. So he's gonna be like that. Hey man, we're gonna lean on you, dog. Yeah, we're gonna lean on you. You the veteran guy, and he's just outstanding at left guard. So I think it makes sense for him to be there. But I actually have faith in the offensive line. I mean, it's rookie here, rookie there, but just based off what they were able to do with Tyler Smith, and if he really needed to move out the left tackle, they could have. I think they're going to do everything they have to do to get Guyton ready, and I think he's going to be okay. Now, is he going to have a rough start?
Yeah, they come. Hey.
That Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, come on.
Miles Garrett going to be outside.
Point right down at that thing. I mean, yes, that's where I'm going with this.
But I'm not going to judge it. I'm not going to judge it because he's a rookie. I'm not going to judge it based off those first 3 games. Like, that's not fair to him to say, listen, if he go out there and he struggle against some of those guys, then he's just not going to be a great player. He's going to struggle a little bit, but I think as the season goes on, I think he's going to catch it. Same thing that happened with Tyler Smith. He did start off with some penalties.
He did.
So it wasn't all great in his first year, but I think he's going to have an opportunity, especially once you get into the Giants.
Ooh, I think Pittsburgh, TJ Watt.
I was going to say after the bye week.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Detroit, you got San Fran.
It doesn't get any easy. There's nothing easy on here.
Philly.
It's like,
listen, he's going to be all right. Bye week, 20th. He's going to have an opportunity to take a breath and see what he did wrong and come on back in. I got faith in him, though. Like, I'm happy with the offensive line until I see him fail. I think they did what they needed to do, especially knowing how your defense performed in the run game and knowing you're going to have to go out there and throw the ball and score some points on offense. Yeah. They did the best they could.
Guys, I'm not going to lie. I'm nervous.
I tried to sell it.
No, I appreciate it. I really do. And I think where my greatest concern comes from is that he is moving from right tackle in college to left tackle in the pros. And, I mean, you guys being two former – veterans in the NFL, y'all know the speed difference is completely different.
And look at T. Steele when he.
Hello.
See, that was during the season.
That's true.
I think the difference in those is this man's gonna have a whole offseason and extra work to play left tackle. Yeah. They were moving guys from right to left mid-season.
Mid-game.
Mid-game.
Come switch your footwork up, man.
Which did Tyron try to play right? Did Tyron play right?
Yes.
Yeah, those are like he's been doing this for his entire career playing left. So I think that's a slight difference in like what's going on with Guyton versus what we've seen previously. And I was in here saying, hey man, it's not the same. And Nate knew what to tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
But when you get a whole offseason, OTAs, rookie minicamp, training camp, and then going to the season, learning that position, then I think it's a little different.
Words like raw. Like that'll take you. That'll take you back. A little bit. I'm just saying.
That's the word you're going to focus on.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. Like, it's still raw. He still has work to do. All right? Yeah. Okay. Right. And I think that worries me. I think it worries me. And Nick Nick Harris had an article about Tyler Guyton, his Coach's Corner. If you got to check it out, those articles that he's writing where he's getting an opportunity to interview some of the coaches from our draft picks. He got an opportunity to talk to Tyler Guyton's offensive line coach, and those were some of the things that he said, like the maturity factor from the jump that he made his first year in at OU, because he transferred from TCU to Oklahoma, but still – just saying that, he was more of a project because of, look, he's big, strong, he's long arms, he's quick feet, but he's not as heavy-handed as you would like for a guy to be. So that's all. That's my only thing. And you keep bringing this up over and over again, and I look at this schedule, and I'm saying, this kid's confidence could be shot, especially knowing that he's going to be going up against a couple of the best pass rushers in the league.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to get him.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at it. Let me see right now, man. I mean, you got Myles Garrett. I mean, you got the Baltimore Raiders. They got two guys coming off the edge. T.J. Watt. You got what's the guy from New York? Thibodeau.
You got Detroit. Yeah.
We're tested. Him and Zimmer both.
No, not him. Him and his offensive coordinator are going to be tested because he's a rookie. Okay, you talking about confidence. You're gonna have to find a way to get the ball out of Dak hands quick. You're gonna have to figure out a way. To me, the thing that can always fix a worry like that is figure out a way to run the ball.
Absolutely.
Offensive linemen in that situation want to maul you. They want to get their confidence up by moving you off the line of scrimmage, and then then they feel a little bit more comfortable with that. If you get them out there and you throwing 40 passes in the first game against the Cleveland Browns, that's where your confidence might get shook because now you got an opportunity, 40 opportunities.
It is.
You got 40 opportunities to get out there and get some sacks now. So I think us establishing the run game, which I know is total opposite of McCarthy and how he rolls. But I think you just last year he did start off trying to run the football. So hopefully this year he follows up and he tries to run the football at the beginning of the season.
So are we we start looking at the starting five right now. We are saying Tyler Guyton at the left tackle, Tyler Smith at the left guard. And there's going to be a battle for the center position between Brock Hoffman and Cooper Beebe. Zach Martin's a lock, and Terrence Steele is a lock. At the center position, any interest in that battle between Hoffman and Beebe?
That's going to be a good battle because Hoffman, when he came in that Commanders game, I mean, he showed some nastiness. Like he was finishing his blocks and. I mean, he's been in this system, so he knows how to communicate through the offensive line. So, but you got BB as a high draft pick, so that's going to be an interesting battle right there in camp.
For either one of those centers, I'm looking, and that's why they got to sit up this way. I believe I'm looking to my right, and I'm looking at a Zach Martin. I'm looking to my left. I'm looking at a Tyler Smith, and I'm feeling more comfortable because that's who I got there. I feel like when they got to make those calls and those switches and stuff, you're looking at a Tyler Smith who's been there, who's Pro Bowl guy. You're looking at a Hall of Fame guy and Zach Martin, and you say, I feel more comfortable here than if I had Guyton and anybody else right there in those spots. So, I think it's okay, man. I think it's all right.
All right, we'll take our last break, man. But before we take this break, it was a quarterback in D-Town that got paid, and it wasn't Dak. We'll be right back.
That's
all facts.
To kick off the 2023 NFL season, Hugo Boss teamed up with the NFL and Micah Parsons to launch an iconic apparel collection featuring hoodies, crews, t-shirts, polos, joggers, and more. The bold, unique apparel of the Boss NFL collection unites football and fashion while reflecting what it truly means to be a boss. Get yours today at nflshop.com/HugoBoss, at HugoBoss.com, and at Boss retail stores. #Be your own boss.
Hi, I'm Danny McCray, Dallas Cowboys alumni player here with Smoothie King. And Smoothie King wants to ask you, what's that sound? That's the sound of us magically transforming our smoothie bowls into 2 new decadent flavors. Dig into a cool acai or pitaya bowl, handcrafted with crunchy, purely Elizabeth granola, fresh strawberries, and finished with a velvety chocolate hazelnut drizzle. Perfect for breakfast, lunch, or anytime you want to munch. And that's the sound of you making them disappear. Smoothie bowls, now in 2 new decadent flavors. Only at Smoothie King, the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Enjoy excellent dining, boutique shopping, and exciting events in the Star District in Frisco, featuring dozens of North Texas' best restaurants and shops, plus a calendar full of family-friendly events. There's always something to shop, dine, and do in the Star District. Visit thestardistrict.com for more information. Back for the last segment of the Players Lounge. Like I said, Newey Scruggs is out. Today he will be back on Monday, but I teased before I left on the second break that there was a quarterback in D-Town that got paid, and I'm talking about Jared Goff. Jared Goff got
what he deserved.
That's facts. That is facts.
He got what he deserved.
That's facts.
You don't hold on.
Jared Goff got broke off. Jared Goff is now the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL, behind Joe Burrow, who is at $55 million a year. Behind that is your guy Justin Herbert. Behind Herbert is Lamar Jackson, and your guy Jalen Hurts is after that at 51. You know that's his man. Don't be like that. Don't be like. Anyway,
I mean, he a Texas guy, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like your son go play for another squad.
Absolutely.
He gonna be a Texas guy.
Speaking of
So keep on now.
Hey, I'll be doing the Bird podcast.
It's like, sorry guys, Players Lounge. Who? Can't do both.
Hey, they gonna bring up all this stuff. That I'll be run out of town. Don't even worry about it. But I mean, when you look at this, I mean, you say Jared Goff, in your opinion, deserves to be paid more than Lamar Jackson at this point in his career.
Who went further in the playoffs?
Twice.
Jared Goff.
What Jared Goff has done since he's got to Detroit earned him that 50. Because Matthew Stafford wasn't doing it. Matthew Stafford was making $100 million Jared Goff got there.
You talking about what he did last year?
No, since he's gotten there. Since he's gotten that team, when he got there, had won. I don't even know how many games. It was bad. Maybe 5, 6. Okay. And they went from there, from how he was playing till last year. They were good because of him as well. Like it wasn't like he was just being a bus driver. There were games where Jared Goff would go out there and he got 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. St. Brown got paid. Like tight ends balling. These guys are balling because Jared Goff is getting them the football. And they were in the NFC Championship, and they should have they coach. Is the reason they weren't in the Super Bowl. Yep. And that's including the game they played against us and then also the game that they lost up there against San Fran. So no fault of Jared Goff. So you looking at a guy, you say, what is a franchise quarterback? A guy that we can depend on to take to the NFC Championship. A guy that we can say, hey, man, we really need you to get down there and get us a field goal at the end of the game or a touchdown, which he did all those things last season in the playoffs multiple times.
Seen the drops.
So I mean, if anybody deserves it, I mean, you give me a reason why he doesn't.
No, I'm not. Look. What I don't like doing is taking away from one person to big up another person. I'm not going to do that. But I guess my question is that coming into this season, I hadn't heard neither one of you guys when we start having the quarterback conversation mention Jared Goff as far as a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, even with the success that he's had in Detroit. I don't. Am I wrong? I mean,
I think you are a little wrong because we talked multiple times about Detroit being a top 5 team because of how they run the ball and how Jared Goff is playing.
But it's always been because of how they run the ball and how they play defense, not so much that Jared Goff is going to get them there. Do you? I mean, come on now. Don't tell me that you had all this faith in Jared Goff from the beginning.
We never bigged up Detroit's defense, bro. They did. I never sit there and said Detroit's defense is a reason to that because Aaron Glenn was struggling last year. To keep them going. It was because they could run the ball and Jared Goff was not turning it over, but he also had St. Brown, and they picked up the tight end, and he was making those guys better. Jared Goff, just based off how he played the previous year and this year, earn that money, and that's how it goes. All it takes is one good year for you to say, "Hey man, it's time for you to pay me because I got us here."
Let me pivot out of this thing
if that goes NFC championship, he should get 60, and that's what he's gonna say.
Okay, what? Because I feel like you have to get Dak's deal done before the season. Am I the only one that feels like you have to domino?
You're right, because you got to get him, and then you get CD, then Micah. You got to get them done.
I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, hey.
No, I'm just all right. So as far as the conversation, when you saw Jared Goff get his money, the first thing you say to yourself, all right, the clock is ticking. Now this number has gone from 53 to
it's going
60.
up.
It's
55 at least.
The Cowboys gonna come back because they're gonna be like, look at the highest paid guy is Joe Burrow 55, but he's been in the Super Bowl. What have you done? And that's gonna be that's gonna be like, hey, it's my time. Like that's how it works. So it's gonna be an interesting battle. But he's gonna get paid regardless. I mean, he's gonna get his bread.
So as far as quarterbacks and just doing a comparison analysis between those two quarterbacks, I mean, who do you give the nod to, Jared Goff or Dak?
Regular season, Dakota Prescott. Playoffs, just like I'm just going off who has had more success in the playoffs.
Even his run in LA.
Yes, it has been Jared Goff, and that's the thing. The only thing that's holding Dak Prescott back from being one of the perennial top 2, top 3 guys is how he performs in the playoffs, or let's say this, how his teams perform in the playoffs, because it always falls on the quarterback. We've seen that it hadn't been up to par to where you say you finished second in MVP voting. But then you get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs, and partially it's your fault.
And I could see if we went to these playoff matchups and he had like a Hurts in the Super Bowl where he outplayed Mahomes, but they still lost. We look at these last 2 playoff performances now. I mean, that's 5 interceptions. I think 2 got taken back for touchdowns. Like, he's been – I'm not going to give him the majority of it, but he has his fair share in the L's taken in the playoffs. So I think you got to put that in there as well, but – I think he'll still get.
Barry, you drug Robbie Blake Bortles to the AFC Championship.
He did.
That's what's hurting you. That's what's hurting you. Here's why you get so upset.
The boat.
Yeah, that's what you get. I can't.
And then they paid him.
Hold on. So who'd you take? So you got Dak and you got.
I'm gonna go with Goff on this one. I got to. You just got to go by the factuals. 2 different teams.
And you Dak all the way through.
You know it. I mean, I'm looking at the numbers too. But I understand we're separated. It's not that you're moving the goalposts. You're basically saying, look, there's regular season and there's postseason, and you're giving the postseason to Jared Goff because of the success. And I can't argue with that.
Yeah, because we always say, hey man, you're gonna go 12-5, and then and no one cares after that. Like if you go 12-5 this year, nobody cares about that 12-5. They only care about what then happens in round 1, round 2, round 3.
Yeah, I got 12-5 right here too.
Oh, man.
Anyway, that's the end of the Players Lounge. We'll be back on Monday. Newey Scruggs will be back with us, man. Handle your business, Newey, man. Thank y'all for joining us. We'll see you.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?